I don't know how it is there, but it's a cool and dreary Tuesday in the
Shit, it
hills
was
of eastern Kentucky.
45 degrees this morning.
Ooh,
Mm, we're at 77.
nice.
Yeah. I think that's the last day, and then it goes to 60s after that.
I paid Elon his $84 GP.
Good, man. You don't
I'm
want to
not
cut your
happy
nose
about
off
it.
to spite your face.
I'm not happy about it at all.
That I get. I don't like paying anyone money, so
Yeah, true
All
that.
right, I see us live on the LXs here. What's happening to the YouTubes though? Where's my YouTube? Oh, it says I'm offline. What's going on with that? Interesting. Come on, YouTube. While I figure this out, you guys can feel free to knock out your
Yeah,
Twitter link.
I'm gonna post it on Stocktips right now.
too much brightness behind me. Trying to adjust that, but
It says it's out there in the world, but I can't see it on YouTube. Try one more again. Nope. Well, do you want me to see what's up with YouTube, or we just go with it on X? What do you think?
Um, let's-
I would like to get YouTube, but I also don't want to. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we're
yeah, just
just
because
either
sitting
one.
that's
here
where
live now.
the chat is, I think. Right?
That's where chat is, man said he said. Let me make
Also,
sure
sorry,
that
it's where we kind of own the viewership, right? So
yes, it is. That's correct. G Pisa. All right. Well, I'll turn it back on one more time. See if that kicks it into gear.
I won't retweet out the YouTube link if that's the case.
Yeah, you're live. We're live on YouTube.
You see it?
Yep.
Where at? On your YouTube?
No, you're YouTube.
My YouTube? Our
Yeah.
YouTube?
Yeah, holding bags.
Send that link
It
out. I
says
don't see
live.
it.
It says live.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, tweet that link out, brother. It says September 23rd for whatever reason. We're not on September 23rd, but that's
I'll do it
okay.
on the YouTube.
I can hear myself.
No, September 23rd is a different one, no?
It is clearly not September
September 23rd is a
23rd,
different one, no?
but here we are, October 7th. Hey, stares at candles. Generational low of the day. I hear that. If you guys can do me a solid and send that YouTube link out. I don't know if you already did that, Nick, but that would be
I just did
fabulous.
it.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
Yay. Thank you, GP. Do it live. Get that IWM cash tag out of there, GP. I don't want to see that.
I just
Hi,
recopied
guys.
yours.
I can't hear you again, GP. Hi,
I just
everybody.
recopied yours.
The chat is up and running. Lasagna Day, Nicholas. What
Uh,
does that mean?
whenever uh whenever my wife makes lasagna, she'll freeze like two or three extra like pans of it so that me and my oldest can just dominate. So when it's lasagna day, we eat lasagna for like two or
So
three
I'm a
days in a
firm believer
row.
in Taco Tuesday belonging to Taco Tuesday.
I've tacoed my kids out. They like every time I'm like, oh, it's Taco Tuesday. We gotta like maybe switch it up to some fajitas or something, I think.
All right, I don't hate that. Hi, GP. How's the shoulder?
It's okay. As you can see, I have difficulty putting on a regular shirt, so tank top in like the cool fall weather is not ideal, but it's what I
This
can get
guy's
on.
acting like he doesn't wear a tank top all the time, Nick.
It's a it's tank top
Dude,
lifestyle.
it's kind of it's kind of interesting. Like I broke my collarbone right here. You can't really see it from here, but it was a lot more swollen. But the things you can't do when you're right-handed and you break a collarbone is kind of like I can't shave. Like I can't apply
Um,
any press. Like I can't go past this level. So I can't. But I can go backwards and I can go sideways. But yeah, about 4 week process, and I avoid surgery, so that's good.
oh, sweet.
You're going to avoid surgery? Great. That's great to hear.
That was the
Um,
doctor's recommendation. So yeah.
Good. I mean, if you listen to the Bears on FinTwat, they're saying that the Qs and the Spy, they're going to need surgery. John, I think, hit it on the nail on the head. It's a generational low of the day today. How are you guys feeling about this little pullback action?
Um,
Well, 3 straight days if this holds on the Qs with the down. No, sorry. We was up 0.75% yesterday. My bad. It's just a red candle. Sorry, Nick. I interrupted you.
the IWM specifically, I'm not too thrilled with where it's sitting right now. But that being said, the from the intraday weakness to morning weakness, like it's perpetually and continually been bought up. So kind of got to see how it closes the day. The reason I don't really like where the IWM is sitting is just being that you've got the high volume candle on the 17th and price is kind of like below that high right now. So where I kind of have my range lines drawn on the IWM is basically from the high and low of that candle. Um, I mean, that being said, it's like we've been running fucking hot, so it's like even if we did get some digestion and pull in here, I think it would be wildly welcomed. Like kind of we were talking about, pre-show. It's the Momo names. It's a lot harder to trail stop those. You kind of gotta sell into strength. Trim and trail versus allowing kind of the longer term moving averages to kind of play that for you. And as price on some of these, whether you're talking like the quantum names or, drones or whatever, it's like the further they've pushed and extended from even the short-term moving averages, the more violent the higher the chance of like a more violent pull in as price kind of reverts. Um, but I don't know. I think like, some stuff looks good, some stuff looks like it got kind of hit pretty hard. I kind of like to see how we close the day before I really um, make too many decisions. But I do think it was a great morning to like clean up the books and sell just, either shit that you didn't have much cushion in, stuff you might have chased because, you caught the FOMO. Kind of like we always kind of preach. It's like, sell some, hold some. I don't think there's any reason to do much more than that, but that's just kind of how I'm taking it.
GP, are you as wildly as excited about this as Nick sounds?
Can you pull up the SPX chart?
Yeah,
Do you remember the level we marked?
right there. Bang on. GP and his wet blankie.
Yep. And if you go to the daily on that versus weekly,
Sure, I'd love to show you the daily on that too.
yeah. So what is that? Three separate attempts and down, right? And so if this snowballs into more, we're going back to 6,100 in a pretty
Oh
quick.
my God,
Oh,
6,100.
Hey, how long have I been talking about this level? We
That's
got to this
another
level, and
eight
that's
and a
three
half
days
percent.
now. 3 days.
Well, I'm
If we break through, great. That's what I'm saying. If this snowballs, we go back to 6,100. Right now, it's been shallow pullbacks and whatnot, but this is the level. This is the same level that you were selling against bags in January, February, right?
yeah,
So these are the fib levels. These are the fib level was 61.20 then. And it went a couple of points around that, kind of went sideways for like a few weeks or a week. And what I anticipated was a 10% pullback, turned out to be a 20% pullback at that time, right? So 6,100 to 5,500, 50, yeah, 5,500 is my thoughts at that time, and it went all the way to what, 4,800, right? So um, it depends on if it can snowball or not, but this is the level I've been watching for months now, and we're hitting it, and we're hitting resistance. So you got to get your caution flags up. You got to be able to pivot um, towards taking some additional shorts, lightening up positions. This is not the time, in my opinion, to press it, and I think you guys probably all agree there.
yeah.
Um, and this is not a generational low. This, to me, can snowball into something quick and dirty. And dude, what a better time to do it right before earnings, right? Like a week straight down 10%. People will get bearish. Boom, reverse it the other way. I'm not saying it happens, but this is the level I've been watching for a really, really long time here. So gotta keep your caution flags up when your levels hit and they don't break higher.
The
yeah,
61,
I completely agree with stick by your thesis until you're proven wrong. I love it. I'm a firm believer, and you have been calling this level for weeks now. I really appreciated your home goods bear post of your bear peeking out around the corner, kind of like Nick is right now, giving us the extreme close up. Um, any, so I have been in this feeling for the market of just keep buying when opportunity rises. And right now we're down a 0.5%. We're coming into the daily nine. Yep, the daily nine's what I got on the chart. But I mean, every bear for the past, I don't know, month has been look how far extended we are. Look how far extended we are. And I've got the weekly pulled up here. And yeah, we're extended. But the same thing happens when you pull the beach ball underwater, right? This is something that we've talked about at length. You get that run up, and you're going to be extended. And until we break something, and you said 6,100 is where you're going, I'm
I
not saying we're not,
Yeah.
in the
but
grand,
I would look for a nice, convenient level of right here around 6,600, which is conveniently the weekly 9 EMA, to be my start buying again point. Just me. Because we've already gone through the Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur situation. That's already happened. It's already been the buy signal. So I appreciate your bearishness, GP. I'm just not fully convinced that we're getting 10% down at this moment in time.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I hope we don't, right? Like I hope we get to maybe 6,400 or something like that. But I can see like if you go back and look at the monthly candles during COVID, um, after like 5 or 6 straight months up, we had two red candles, and both
Yeah.
candles pretty much touched the last month green month's lows and then reversed, right? So, what's the last month's lows here? Yeah, 60, 63, 6,400. That's where I think we'll
Yeah.
probably find a hold. But if we get something wicked because people are gonna be short to hold things long, if we start breaking down, it's possible that we flush to 6,100. Not what I would like to see, but holy crap! Did you cut your hair?
I did.
Yeah, Nick got the haircut.
Oh my
And
goodness!
Forget
I'm
the
hoping
market. Let's talk about this mop.
it didn't it didn't
You
mark the
should have
top of
just
this thing.
led with that. We should short the shit out of everything. Holy crap! It's a regime
Yeah.
change.
I looking at the chart, honestly, it wouldn't like in the grand scheme of things, your pull into 6,100 would be perfectly healthy. Like that's the 6,100, that's not even a 0.382 from the tariff lows to where we're sitting right now.
Yeah, dude, it's also
So,
the Adam and Eve setup. It's a breakout, retest, and then boom, right? Then your next
yeah.
leg higher begins.
I mean, maybe it'll be known as the haircut top, I guess we'll see.
The haircut top. Oh my God. Nick, well, I don't know what you're drinking, but that better not be any bear juice in there. I mean, I'm just, you know, I get a tremendous kick out of when any one of the three of us sort of get out of our normal bullish behavior and attitudes.
Yeah.
Um, GP, I'm not dismissing anything you say. I obviously value your perspective and your opinion. I don't think that there's any mega tailwinds to do this other than just, or headwinds to do this other than it's just purely technical. And if it's purely technical, I've got a hedge on the side of it's a more shallower dip. Purely technical, I kind of got it.
So
Sorry.
like 65-ish.
Yeah, I marked this 65.92 area, so somewhere in there. That's where I've got marked. That's the daily chart, but that lines up with the weekly EMA there. Um, anyway, I don't know. I don't prognosticate that I'm always right, so I'm open to being wrong. Give me some more cheapies. I've got some cash to spend.
I think, yeah. So I think the way I'm operating and the way I would say other people should operate, if they want to do some short-term protection, is either use futures to generate some cash flow or take your stops, right? And so if we do get a quick flush, um, it's good to have cash raised so you can deploy it in setups to start to present themselves in a strong way, right? Like so if you're looking at stuff today in the middle of this, the number one thing that keeps me on the bull side is obviously our friend Netflix, right?
Yeah.
That's literally pushing towards highs. AMD is still holding. That thing usually collapses within 5 seconds of anything that's anything that's a resemblance of red, right? So you saw it yesterday. They froze up the markets, and the whole day spent selling. So no continuation, no follow through there. The other ones that that led us out of other potential sequences like this were hymns. Hymns stopped going down back in April before the market lost another few percent. So hymns is showing you relative strength here. Rocket Labs is showing you relative strength here. Ironically, the trade desk is showing you relative strength here. So, and then you have
And that one
Palantir.
got punched in the jejunum.
Yeah, but do you see how symmetrical that dude, TTD is about to bust a move. But anyway, I got a long position there. But once again, if it starts faltering and it starts breaking the levels that I have, I'll get out. I'll raise the cash. I'm in this short term to get that 20-30% move. If it doesn't give it to me, I'm not going to stick around to find out. It's a stock that's been weak. And this market, as we know, gives you an opportunity to rebuy the lows from last week and the week before and the week before and the week before, basically since May, right? Everything is back test of the retest of whatever has been going on. Like we haven't, um, and there's been some fundamental relationship breaks. Have you guys noticed that? Right? Like gold is up today, so is the dollar. Past 2 days, gold up, dollar up.
If you happen to catch my rant earlier on gold and Ray Dalio, anyway, you're triggering me, but just by saying gold right now, GP. But I'll
Yeah.
save that. You can go on StockTwits and read it. Um,
But the other thing is the small caps, right? Look at this, man. This is how many attempts at trying to break this 2021 high will we continue to fade, right? Like this is
well, we started off the show and I had that chart up, Nick,
yeah.
and like if you just look at it, we're basically retesting the highs. Yeah, it might be a little undercut of these previous highs in 2021 and 2024, but again, that you I have been the one off of small caps. I'll be the first to admit. But at the same time, like yeah, it's down below that, Nick, but at the same time, it isn't broken at this
No,
moment. There's still plenty of time for this to catch the 9 daily here. So, like again, I could it go deeper? Sure. Am I throwing up, Chicken Little, the sky is falling? Absolutely not.
But the thing is, it is broken, right?
Is it?
So right? So like it may have not broken down or maybe it's flushing below this, but comparatively to what the SPY, what the Dow, what the NQs have done progressively over the last 4 years, this thing is still selling off at 2021 highs, right? Like, but if you look at the vast majority of the names in IWM, they've been beasting for months now, right? Like we've talked about Bloom Energy, we've talked about KTOS, we've talked about Fix, Prim, uh, Duolingo, Hims, Tempest AI. We can go through like all 2000 stocks, but the correlation is what's broken to me is like, okay, if these other indices saw weakness, I would have seen rotation into the small cap index, but we're still, it's like they're long spaghetti and short small caps, right? Like it's almost like it's this weird pairing that's going on. So to me, it's broken because when you come out the secondary top, it's a powerful move, right? So we failed in 2024, great. But when we come back in 2025, that shit should go bananas. Not, uh, maybe, nope, maybe, nope. I'm gonna incremental top it. And so that's why I think it's broken, but it's not actually broken, right?
All right, Nick. Nick, speak some
yeah,
speak some
I,
sanity to me, Nick.
I the only, I mean, okay, so looking at the IWM, I think where price is sitting, if we were to close below 244.50, I would be
On the daily.
on the daily. I'd at least consider the possibility that we'd be testing the low end of the range 237. At the same time, I guess I wouldn't use the term necessarily broken, just being that, the IWM has been on a pretty much straight 20-day rip since it broke that descending channel back in, late April. We got a 200-day, 50-day test once about mid trend here. And so as hot as we've been, I think like it's just kind of fucking around up here at the highs. I hear the argument for the warning signs for sure. And again, like if we close weak today, I think that would be somewhat of a change in character, just being that I think, like I had said earlier, the midday weakness, the AM weakness, it's been perpetually bought. And so if we get a day where we're just like it massively sells and we close weak, I think it would just be a kind of a change in character. Um, which obviously we won't know until the end of the day, but um I would be a little bit so if kind of going back to the where I have the range drawn from like let's say 237 to 244, 245.
Yeah,
It's kind
roughly
of the
between
width
the
of that.
yellow and the pink lines here.
Yeah, so if what today represents is a breakout failure because ultimately the last 2 days we broke, Friday into Monday, we broke above and out of that range. Now we're reverting back into it. If we do push back towards the low end of the range, 237, I would also somewhat anticipate that gets undercut. And then again, your 50-day is pretty much right underneath that range. And if you're not in an like let's say you were trading the IWM, your entry at that point would be on a reclaim of like that 237, right? Like when you see price close back above that low, you could probably argue that shorts are trapped right there and we're going to revert higher. Like we don't want to see, price kind of take out that 30, 236, 237 like definitively. Like if that were the case, then I would probably switch gears into kind of GP's camp where it's like, okay, we're probably going to head back towards the 200 day, 217, 220-ish. You've got a nice like area right there, like 225, 226, but yeah, I don't know, like when you pull up like there's plenty of individual names that are up off the lows, um, even right now, but like again, let's see how like I think let's see how we close the day and
I
kind of
mean,
go from
Nvidia
there.
just went green. All right, like
Yeah.
I, I'm I hate to be the one that's always contra to everybody else. I just don't see it, GP, and I've been wrong, and I'm okay admitting when I'm wrong. I think we could get a small pullback, but again, just coming back to leaders, you talked about AMD, GP, and I think AMD. I've flashed it up on the screen here. AMD is a great example of whenever the market is going to do one thing, AMD tends to be contra to that and like the other thing, right? So it
Yep.
being up and everything else kind of red or middling kind of fits the brand. But at the same time, AMD's when there's weakness, it begets weakness, right? Like when there's weakness in the market, AMD is typically one for a good old flushing. And we're not seeing that. And maybe the Midas touch of open AI is keeping this elevated and it may never come down below, I don't know, what was yesterday's low, like 202. But I don't know. I don't know. It's hard for me to get all frothy and thinking that I'm going to have all these buying opportunities at much lower prices
That-
just because we're
Ben,
having a 0.5% down day.
I'd rather be
I
charting the SPY and the Qs anyway versus the IWM.
I
Just
agree. So Ben, I
uh,
agree with what you're saying. And Nick, yeah, those are the ones that we focus on charting, right? IWM is 2000 stocks that you need like you need Noah's Ark to get us across the board essentially, right? So it's we've talked about this so many times, right? You need everything to go right for IWM to break out. So, but yeah, but I look at it and I'm like, okay, this is the point where resistance has been, this wasn't drawn now, it was drawn back in July, right? Or May. So for it to hit this level from a level I randomly drew off of Fibs, it's something I need to pay attention to, right? It's the same level that, so can it snowball into something more? Yeah,
Sure.
that's a possibility. So you have to raise cash when you take your stops, right? It's just,
Sure.
it's prudent to be risk forward here in terms
Yeah.
of if you've taken on new positions, don't give it too much leeway. You don't want a small trade to turn into a bag that you're holding for like the next 3 months, right?
Of course.
So, but from a overall perspective, I'm looking at I'm looking at Apple, I'm looking at Tesla, I'm looking at IWM for that matter too, right? It's sitting right near the breakout. So if we get these, like you're an Apple, right? Apple Weekly looks like it's about to beast
The
out of
daily
this
looks
smoke.
great too.
Yeah.
Huh?
Sorry, I said the daily looks great too.
Yeah. So, like there's competing scenarios, and when there's competing scenarios for me, it's always time to raise caution, right? And so, um, that like that's why I see it, and like the general lack of crypto being able to have any sustainable move to the upside, like can we just go, right? Like, and but I'm
No,
not just saying that about crypto, I'm saying that about um First Solar, I'm saying that about Tesla, I'm saying that about Lemonade, like positions that I've been holding that have been pretty much just sideways for months now, right? Like Lemonade has been between 50 and fucking 57 for how long now, right? So, to me, this is you have two ways of looking at this. It's potential, it's how to move, it's distribution top, and then it comes back and retests something. So I want to keep my stops a little bit higher. Look, man, I've been wrong. I sold out of 80% of Rocket Lab on the 2 weekly candles, and then it takes out all-time highs next week, right? So
yeah.
I'm okay to be wrong, but we're in the scenario where having cash at your disposal is probably in your best interest.
Oh, I love having cash. I mean, I again, and I know I said I prefaced it earlier with you have your thesis and you got to stick by it, and this is one that you've had on the radar for some time. I mean, I note these things on the charts that we share, so everybody sees them, right?
Yeah.
And I added the wet blankie 2 weeks ago, basically, because like it's GP's wet blankie, and I'm not saying that necessarily derogatorily. If the market turns and we get a big croissant down, right, we get one of them down, then yeah, GP was right, and you should have trimmed, and we all should have trimmed. Um, but I'm not. I guess I have become numb to it because you know my penchant for loving the Fintwaterati, and I don't know. I just get tired of bears gasping at every move, and anyway, it's not complacency as much as it's just like, oh my God, can they just shut up?
Yeah,
You
dude,
know,
like the bear porn is stupid, right? Like
Yeah.
flushes and corrections are good, bear porn stupidity.
Nick,
we've talked in the past kind of about the post EPS drift trades and like when price just starts to melt and I think it's like the most difficult kind of trend and melt that like trade out there. The only thing that you can do is perpetually raise stops and allow the market to force you out. Otherwise, you're gonna kind of get chopped up as price melts. So like, looking at like let's say Apple or some of the other names that, like what was the other one I think you mentioned was like
Microsoft.
Microsoft. It's like, if price just kind of continues to pull in and revert and kind of backfill into, whatever moving averages that particular name respects. It's like, I don't know, it's easy to get shaken out. It's easy to like be like, oh fuck, this is gonna roll over, oh, this is gonna roll over, oh, this is gonna roll over, when really it's just kind of like, melting higher. And I try to like ask myself a lot of the time, like, what is, the market in general is a sadistic, motherfucker. And it's like, where is, if the market's designed to fool the majority of the people the majority of the time, like, where is max pain? It's not always going to be like definitively up, down, or sideways. Like, what kind of action is going to frustrate the most amount of people? And I think that like where we're at in this kind of like, massive run that we've had off of the tariff lows, I mean, it has been somewhat of a melt, like almost since we, pretty much actually since we kind of took out the highs, back in like June. It's been kind of just a perpetual melt higher, and so that's kind of the action that we're getting, whether we like it or not. And we're beggars, we can't
Yeah,
necessarily be.
I mean, you can't go up forever, right? Somebody asked me to look at a chart earlier today, and it was I don't know, it was one of those Momo names. It's just been parabolic, and it's just like how I can't really give you a good weekly or monthly chart on this thing because it's ran like crazy, and a pull into the EMAs is going to be like 25% or 35% or whatever, right? So I agree there's a lot of froth, and I feel like you guys know my strategy well enough. I want to be in best of breed names as much as I can, with a few speculative positions out there. And I really just want to set it and forget it, right? Let the market do its thing, let the winners run, and hold things that aren't going to disrupt my sleep at night. If I were trading everything that moved 40 or 1,000% in a day, like some of these, yeah, I'd probably be, on pins and needles and, rubbing my hands nonstop. And when am I going to get out, or when am I going to load more? But that's not my style. And I get that everybody wants to make a quick buck, but Nick, you play some of these Momo names, and I think
Yeah.
Stairs in the comments brought up Core Weave, which has been a darling name and it's done great. But at the same time, right? You look at the daily and it's down 3%. For some people, down 3%, that's hard to stomach in one day. But this is just a typical move in some of these momentum names. How do you
Yeah.
just go along and que sera, sera, however things will be?
Yeah, I mean, I, my opinion when especially when it comes to Momo, like turn your P&L off the fucking screen.
Yeah,
Like
no kidding.
you gotta trade the chart. Like if you're not trading the chart and you're trading your P&L and you're watching your P&L just kind of flicker up and down, it's I guess speaking from my experience, it's been a recipe for disaster, at least in the past. I think I've kind of somewhat graduated from that level of my I've graduated that level or chapter of my trading, but yeah, like I mean, if you look at CoreWeave, like it looks great. Like it's
Right.
literally in kind of a like range right now, and it's at the low end of the range. I have again, so like where I have um again looking at the high volume candles, I have a horizontal line from September 10th over, and basically we ticked the low of that this morning. So
Yeah.
I mean, again, like it looks good. Like but again,
If
yeah,
I were trading this name specifically, yeah, that low of the day, if you were able to catch anywhere down in the mid 120s, I mean, to me, that looks like a pretty good spot to take a stab,
for sure.
right?
But again, like
And
you can't be trading your P&L if you're trading that way because otherwise you're like you said, like you're thinking this looks like shit because your P&L is down on the day when in reality it looks fucking great because of like where it's sitting and the likelihood of it holding here is actually pretty good. So, You know,
until it
I don't know.
doesn't.
Just
Until
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't.
for sure.
And there will be a day. It may be today. It may be this week. I don't know when that day is going to happen. That all of a sudden, yes, four red candles in a row, it's going to break and it's going to get hit 10, 15, however many percent down on consecutive cascades. But in the market that we're currently living in, GP, how do you make the case that and I'm not saying you are. You've given a warning of a level on the SPX. I'm just again, I'm ranting about the bear porn out there. How can you make the case after months of the sell off that happened in April, which was pretty quick, and now the beach ball's back above water, that all of a sudden we're going to re-enter an environment where we're going to cascade down precipitously in what historically is the best time of the year to be involved in the market.
Um, I think flushes like that, right, can start off of a tweet and can start off of like the news. You know why we flushed today? Because something about Oracle rental data center equipment from NVIDIA loses them $100 million. Like we're talking about trillions of fucking dollars being allocated and stuff over the last 3 weeks, and we just sold off on $100 million loss. Like, yeah. So I
You
don't
know,
know what can trigger it. Anything can kind of trigger it. We are extended. Um, Trump gets back on his tariff tirade because he knows the markets can handle it. And he's like, oh, maybe it'll cause some volatility or whatever. He gets into a fight with Israel. I don't honestly know, right? Like the one thing that we talked about earlier this year is the comparison to 2017, Trump's first year
oh,
in presidency, right? It outside of the tariff news this year, this is pretty much tracking 2017. It grinded higher all year long, right? This one just gave you a quick dip to buy, and so it can continue to grind higher, grab some liquidity and stuff. But if you look at 2017 to 2018, we literally went we were grinding up all the way. So I think we can grind all the way into that. COVID was very, very similar as well. So there's precedence around the stuff that we can continue to grind higher. I'm saying is have some caution, right? On
yeah.
names. If you're gonna be long for like 2 years, 5 years, whatever, then this doesn't matter, right? But if you're in a trade, like I was in a trade for a stock called Cure, Qure, right? And there's not a lot of volume selling. I got in at 55. I had to stop at 52 and I got out, right? I'm like, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that now. My trade was that it goes higher and busts through. It if the market experiences weakness, all this stuff can pull back, right? So um that's kind of where I'm just at. Like if I'm on a short-term trade, I'm raising cash much faster there. On the longer term stuff, I'm holding and using we'll use futures or puts or whatever to kind of protect myself. But
I was gonna
yeah,
say if we were looking at at the COVID year as the playbook, it would play right into your idea of us retesting the 6100 because it would just be like a few days. Honestly, it would be like a couple weeks late.
yep,
You know, like if you look at the SPY from 2020, it pretty much we sold off hard, retested the initial COVID sell-off like highs.
yep.
We rallied, price reverted, retested the lows, and then it was kind of off to the races. And then we were on to, pretty much on to 2020, the melt higher into 2021.
Yeah,
Um,
September was a wonky month in 2020, and then October um, was not a friendly October as we have received in the past. I'm going to go to the weekly chart. It better illustrates that. Yeah, here's September, basically, right here. And
Yeah.
then here's October. And I can remember this, and it's the last week of October. This was just like you thought the world was coming to a freaking end, right? Like everybody's
Yeah.
like, we're retesting the bottom, where
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
is lower. Like everyone, I didn't care. Well, I shouldn't say everyone. GP wasn't. I wasn't. We were talking about buying Boeing. That's when GP and I first met each other, actually. Anyway, you can go look that up on StockTwits if you have the time or interest. But yeah, it was like everything. I shouldn't say again. I'm painting with generalities. There was a large percentage of people of the Twatterati who was like, "It's over, it's over. We're going to break. What was that low? 319, and then we're testing the lows. It's over." Well, 319 never came. And I just kind of feel like we're in the same type of environment, Nick. So I think what you're saying is kind of how I'm feeling.
Sure. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
and so the 61 may not have, if you look at that same kind of level, all it did is backtest the September lows in the COVID timeframe, right? Or the August lows or whatever that was. If you go
Yeah,
to the
that
monthly
that
candle.
was the September low, and it didn't even
Yeah.
reach it.
Yeah, yeah. So like so we could do the same and that gets us to about 63.50, right? So it's a smaller flush, but
yeah.
it's all possible to happen. And if the smaller flush happens, then we can also get the other stuff that looks like it's breaking out to possibly actually break out, right? Like Apple and Tesla, which have been laggards to the rest of the market and its peers, small caps as well, all that stuff. It's possible that it's just I don't know, just Spotify and Nvidia and Netflix and Meta and Microsoft and Amazon and Amazon. Amazon hasn't really participated either, right? So like there's a lot of stuff that's conflicting. So I'm just like I got to keep my my Cub hat on, right? The bear Cub hat.
Well, I've got bear socks, so I like your Cub hat. I can rock with it.
Yeah.
Um, VPA brought up something that I think is worth talking about. Gosh, and we've already been doing this for 50 minutes. Anyway, he brought up something I thought that was interesting to talk about. He's calling it the infinite money glitch. I just call it the AI trading hands of money, right? OpenAI pays Oracle, who pays
Yeah.
Nvidia, who pays OpenAI, and it just right. We're not creating money, but we're just spending money in a washing machine, basically. And you can add AMD to that list too. I think, and this is what I'm seeing across different analysts and commentators in the financial world. This is what the bubble is, right? This is their whole thing of the bubble. And I wasn't trading during the dot-com bubble. I can't pretend to know exactly how the day to day played out in that. And maybe there's a lot of similarities, but I think there's a lot of differences too. In my opinion, the main difference is we have the markets and investors have greatly evolved, but greed's still the same. So I'm interested on what your two's take on this quote unquote infinite money glitch of the AI cycle of money.
Nick, you
Um,
go first. I got thoughts,
yeah,
but you go first.
I I've I've tried to kind of like, reach out to people that were like actively trading 99 because I'm always curious about that kind of time period. I'll never forget it just being that I remember my dad coming home one day and being like, "Oh, I think I've said this before, but he was like, he canceled the cable TV. Uh, it was home lunches at school from now on. I wasn't getting the school lunch and all that kind of shit. And I mean, it was kind of short-lived, but it definitely sticks out in my mind. I think like where I think both between AI and crypto, I don't like when I think of crypto, I think of just like e-currency. I don't think of like crypto as like crypto coins, I guess. Like like fiat's just another like it's going e as well. Like cash is going away. COVID pretty much, probably expedited that process. So I don't know, like I think that we're the beginning stages of something like monstrous. Like again, I think we kind of talked about that SPX chart I posted a couple weeks ago where I'm actually really in kind of Duzio's camp where I think we're pushing to like early 2030s before this kind of bull run really starts to fizzle out. And so dips are, I think it really gonna, again, kind of depends on how you want to play this run. Like, there's nothing wrong with perpetually rotating cash into quality, whether you're ETF and index tied, or even, let's say DCing and just quality names that you think are gonna, again, continue to do well. Or you kind of churn and burn the names that are, breaking out, chasing breakouts, and like the momentum names. I think dips are gonna be continually bought up until again kind of the 2030s. Like I think we're gonna see something like a monumental blow off before
That's a long
before
damn
we
time.
yeah. That's just I mean in the back of my mind I have like the like 1929 like the crash of 29 in the back of my head, but that the 29 kind of again plays into like the end, like pushing towards like the 2030s. um I also think price kind of moves somewhat symmetrically, and just looking at a long-term chart, I think the timing wise, I think that push puts us about 2031-ish. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like I'm just so like I don't think I saw a thing. I think I was watching the StockTwits morning show this morning with Katie
Shy.
and Shy, and he was talking about like, and I actually totally agree. I was like, he was talking about refrigerators and this idea that eventually, I think well, I can't remember if it was Samsung. I think that people are all fucking pissed because in some of these like refrigerators that have screens on them, they're gonna start showing commercials and stuff. I'm like, dude, fuck that. Like, I spent $1,800 on a refrigerator. I don't want to see commercials on my refrigerator. But then he kind of went on to talk about like, well, dude, if you have a smart refrigerator, like this thing could be telling you, what's expiring in your refrigerator. Like
It's
what you're
time to buy
short on.
cottage cheese.
It's time to buy cashews. Like I don't think we've even, they talk about like stuff hitting Main Street and like massive adoption and all this kind of stuff. Like I just don't think we're anywhere near that. Like we're just most of us fucking idiots are barely like know how to use Chat GDP to like write like like a thing, like a
A stock twits
essay
post.
or StockTwits post. So it's like, dude, I don't know. Like I, as we kind of always, preach, it's like, manage your risk. You've got to let price kind of dictate your ultimate, like your decision making. But now is not the time to be a pessimist, like, in my
GP,
opinion.
give us your infinite money glitch take.
So, so just a side note before I do, a new movie just came on Netflix
Oh
while
boy.
everyone's still canceling. It's called Idiocracy. Uh,
Great one.
what you just described about the smart refrigerator, bang on. Like, open the fucking refrigerator and figure out your expiration date. Stop being lazy. I get the optimizing life conversation, but when you optimize, you lose enjoyment.
Yeah.
Just a side on the infinite money glitch. It's there's two things for me here, right? Before I talk about the infinite money glitch, let's talk about valuations, right? And how historically, so when the market continues to be at historical valuations, what it's telling you, or at least it's telling me, is the market right now is pricing in future growth. So what you're seeing in the infinite money glitch is that pricing in your infinite money glitch right now. That's what's happening in real time, in my opinion, right? So if this infinite money glitch is just a glitch and it's not actually infinite money, as you guys talk about, then these valuations will revert back. And that's when you will see potential crash. But for one moment, if you step back and say, okay, this has actually got some legs and they can actually do it. Because I don't think anyone really understands how OpenAI is going to invest all this money in it. But what I will tell you is
No,
I think I think the CEO of OpenAI and a lot of these CEOs are not that kosher, right? In my opinion. But there is
no,
one person I think is pretty kosher, and he is telling you hand over fist. He has so much cash, he doesn't know what to do with it. He's investing in the infinite money glitch that you are so-called telling me is a problem. And he has been ahead of the curve over your ass, over my ass, over everyone's ass since 1993. His name is Jensen, and
I
he
was just
runs NVIDIA. And he's been telling you for a really long time. Yes, we can get corrections, but he's been telling you for the last couple of years that whatever you think is the truth is not accurate, right? So he he's the one who turned this entire market around in 2022.
Yep.
Do you remember what started it? Do you remember in October 10th or October 11th of 2022, the first person who came out and said, we're going to buy NVIDIA chips? Zuckerberg. $10 billion investment in 2022. Most people missed it. Now you come on and tell me that you got infinite money glitches and sorry,
sure.
I'm not tirading against VPA, but I've just read a lot of it. But it's you have the one of the most humble CEOs, in my opinion, the one who has kept it above board for the better part of 30 years, telling you that the infinite money glitch is real right now. Like I said, if it doesn't manifest, the market will self-correct. But the market is telling you that it
I
looks
mean,
like
just
it's
look at
going
the
to
chart.
manifest. Huh?
That's
Yeah,
such a wild chart.
I look at Nvidia and I just marvel. I've said many times like, oh, I should have bought Broadcom. Well, we all should have bought Nvidia and just socked every penny away in Nvidia. And yes, I can remember the evangelizing in 2022 somewhere through here, GP, and then Nvidia just explodes, right? And he was basically setting the table for everyone to come on, jump aboard this train, come on. Nobody believed it. We were all, playing with Chat GPT, thinking that this was some novelty, and now 3 years later, here we are talking about an infinite money glitch with these companies and the way they are just printing money hand over fist. And yeah, I admire just the way that Jensen has kept it above board. I think that's a great way to put it, GP. And every dip has been a buy. I mean, every dip in this chart from the beginning of time has ultimately been a buy. And until proven otherwise, I mean, that's the reason why I reopened my position in Nvidia, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
AMD has been in my books for so long that my shares are so cheap and they're outrageous. But and I'm glad I was super happy to see the AMD announcement with OpenAI yesterday that validates AMD is catching up. But this is still the Clydesdale pulling everything. Nvidia is, and until something changes, why don't you want to be along on the ride with the best company in the market? I would argue everybody wants Nvidia chips, regardless of what AMD is doing. And I'm glad again. I'm a long-term AMD holder. I'm glad AMD is finally getting some recognition, but the facts are the facts.
Do that. So one correction, October 26, 2022. It was off of Facebook's earnings. I have the post, it's there. Uh, it is literally real time to tell you that the entire market's going to change. Happen to also be a double bottom, but dude, he is the thing is we talk about that, Ben. We talk about this a lot, right, Nick? Don't fight the trend, and the trend is telling
Right.
you the leader of the trend is telling you, first of all, I'm not expensive by any means. Maybe the market is expensive, but I'm not. Yes, quantum names are stupid and all that other stuff, Momo, whatever you want to say. But take a look at the surface layer stuff. This any anything you want to call it, when you start labeling it the infinite money glitch, and you think this is the reason the top is going to occur, you're most likely going to be wrong. It's going to happen, and then they're going to rename it after. And that's usually like it wasn't the dot-com crisis in March. It was the dot-com in March of 2000. It was the dot-com crisis when we bottomed, right? So,
All right.
yeah.
We got a couple minutes left. We've talking about what we believe is happening in the market, what we think is going to happen in the market, and the leaders of the market. I still have some cash from my rotation of the whole Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur trade that I put on over the past couple weeks. And I've got some ideas of where I want to put money to work if there is a pullback. And I'll give you my thesis. But first, I want to hear from either one of you if you have a target or targets that you're focusing on to put money to work if there's a pullback. And then I'll sort of cap it off.
As far as like current setups, Tem and Arm are still my two faves. I think
Tempest AI and ARM. So
What a
fabulous.
miserable stock, Tempest AI. It just refuses.
well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking is like if the market does pull in, these are two that have continued to base. They haven't neither have broken out. I guess you could kind of argue Tempest is like kind of flirting with it or maybe even attempted and then failed. But I like the ranges and the bases in both. And so like again, if the market does pull in, I'd be looking to see or would hope to see these show some relative strength, kind of hold within the range and then get ready to bust loose when however we do kind of bottom out. Again, like if we do get kind of a significant pull in, I'd be curious
So,
to
Nick,
see.
these would be names you want to be long for core holdings or just long for a trade.
Uh Definitely a trade initially. I'd have to see how they trade post breaking out. If it's something where they just like pump and it looks like, and again, they kind of get super extended, well, then it's going to have to turn into a trade. If they kind of break out, digest, and kind of can stair step, then I'd consider them as core holdings.
GP?
What's the length of time for what your question is?
Oh, I don't know. However you want to take it. If I typically look for a longer time frame, so I'm referencing specifically for myself things that I just want to hold and set it and forget it. For you, it might be different.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Okay,
and then
so
I sorry to cut you off, GP. Then I would probably would have picked like Apple and Tesla.
so I'll
If
give
it,
you like maybe four, right? Real quick, not with a lot of analysis. Tesla on the verge
yeah,
of doing of doing things that most people can't dream of because they are all shareholders after 2021 or
Yep.
2020. Um, the other one is Hims. This continues to feel weak, but refuses to actually be weak, right? It's
yeah.
battling 40% short interest, Costco coming out with Ozempic, all that stuff. Nothing. It creates intraday weakness. It creates maybe daily weakness, but it's not an overall weekly chart weakness. Um, the the third one I have is um, crap, First Solar, right? I really like how First Solar
Yeah.
is looking. it's just petering for whatever that news cycle is, whatever it is. It's like literally, it is fully symmetrical of the last move. And then short term, uh, open looks fantastic. No fundies, nothing. But chart wise,
Yeah.
this looks like a solid consolidation. This looks like it's moving towards 15. I don't know how or why or what, but this looks great. So I got a position on here. This for me will always be a trade until I believe it's going to be more than that, which I don't at this point, but I will get my 25, 30% or stop out for 5% trade.
So I'm up now. You guys know that I've been levered crypto, so I'm not necessarily looking for more crypto exposure. I really like reopening. I'm hooking back up with X's, and Microsoft is on the top of that list. It was a great trade when I sold Microsoft somewhere back here. But I regret that decision, obviously. It was hard for me at the time to fathom one of the largest companies in the world continuing to have a driven multiple like they had. So, if we are a believer in semiconductors, which you know that I am, and if we are a believer in AI and networking and security, which you know I am, Microsoft sits right in the middle of that thesis. So I'm looking to open back up a position in Microsoft. I would have been crazy not to buy back here, which would have been closer to my exit from April, but we're not going to get that. If I get a discount somewhere into gosh, anywhere below 500, I would consider that a win. I'm not expecting it. I'll probably put a position on sooner rather than later. Um, but it's the flywheel, right? It's Microsoft is ubiquitous in our digital lives, whether we know it or not, and their partnership with OpenAI and NVIDIA and AMD just sits really nicely within my current portfolio, and I can sleep well at night knowing that I have some fortresses behind me. So there you
I
go.
like Microsoft. I agree there.
There you go. I know I was in Apple. GP, you mentioned Apple. I still like
Yeah.
Apple. But if again, part of the reason why I sold Microsoft was I was so mega cap tech heavy that I may as well just bought QQQM or QQQ and just let it ride out. So I don't want to be so dominant on the top five Q names. But I think I was probably misguided on my beliefs when I previously sold. So solely focused on that. I was looking at ASML, which again sits
That
in
looks
that,
good too.
but gosh, it has ran so much and there's so many gaps in this chart. It does look great. And I've been stalking it since September like a fool without pulling the trigger. And look where it is now. It's $1,000 instead of below $800. So I'm kind of going to let ASML walk. Um, but
Don't
anyway,
forget about Intel.
sometimes you miss
Dude,
them, sometimes you hit them, and you can never hit a
it-
home run with the bat sitting on your shoulder. I know you like Intel, and I think Intel's got a lot of good mojo, but I just don't think Intel is the semiconductor leader.
no,
Maybe they
but it's
are
also
going to
not
reclaim that.
it's also not expensive,
It's not.
right?
You're right.
So it going back and taking out .com highs would be probably what happens here. Will it do much more than that? But in 2008, one of the things that the government did was what? They came in and said, we're going to backstop all our banks, right?
Yep.
That's it. That was it. That was your moment to say, we're not going to let anything fail anymore. And you may not like the policies of Trump, but he's coming in and saying, I'm going to backstop some of the companies that I think are are the fundamentals of this country, right? Like all the mining companies that are coming in, Intel's another one, right? So like he's doing it in a way it's not from a loan perspective, but he's actually taking stakes. But this
I
is
like your
and the
Intel. I like your Intel idea a lot.
I'm in at 24, so I'm talking my book. So don't get me.
Yeah.
I am talking my book, but the book is based on the fact that we are in the grifter administration, so you might as well grift with them.
Well, you guys remember I was trading Intel like crazy. I mentioned it several times on the pod. I was trading all these
Yeah.
ranges, this up and down scenario that we've got back here. But it's hard for me to have a long-term position on something when I have low conviction in the name. And until proven otherwise, I know the government is backstopping them. Um, it's just one of those things. You're still guilty until proven innocent, in my mind. This has been the gang that can't shoot straight, and I know they have a new CEO, but it has been clusterfuck after clusterfuck with this bunch for too long. And I would just rather be in operators that I can trust, like Lisa Su and Jensen Wong.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not worried about catching every Momo trade, GP. You know me well enough, but I
No, I
don't
know.
disagree. I think Intel's great. I, and you've never heard me say that before. I think it's great for a trade. Am I active in the 30s? No. I would like to see it come down. I don't think it necessarily fills this gap here. But maybe it doesn't come down. But when full circle now for this whole show, coming back to Bear Thesis, when you see these overextensions like this is overextended. This is overextended. Not so much that.
Yep.
So I think there's a lot of names that you got to be careful with, and I would put Intel in that mix. For me, that doesn't mean it's not right for you. Hey guys,
It's
I love you. We're out of time, but tomorrow, Wednesday,
Yeah.
2 p.m. Don't forget, you guys tune in on our lovely show on Stock Twits, the Community Rip Live. We love being over there. We'll be live at 2, and we can't wait to see you. Nick came up with a potential name for this Tuesday show. I've just been calling it the Tuesday show. I don't even think you shared this with GP. You just called me randomly and he's like, "Hey, what do you think?"
Yeah, yeah. I had
Bottom
meant to. Yeah.
line. And I think you can go a lot of ways with the bottom line. But GP, what do you think about the bottom line? And tell us what you guys think about the bottom line or any other name in the chat.
I'm a big fan. Isn't there a sports show called The Bottom Line though?
Couldn't tell you.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
I
when
like it.
we
I
were
like it a lot. As long as we're not conflicting with anyone else, I'm good with it.
Technical Tuesday, Alex says. And chat, sorry, normally we're very interactive with the chat. I know we've answered a few of the questions. It just flies by when we get going and start
oh
talking. It
shit,
just
there we gotta scrap it. There is a bottom line podcast out there
can't be
already.
the bottom line. It,
Yeah.
it, it was so good, someone else already had it, Nick, which seems to be the way it goes. I like the Tuesday show.
Yeah, yeah,
BPA said tits up Tuesday. Um,
We need
I don't.
mass market appeal. Jesus Christ.
yeah.
Randy says the shit storm. Tweet us, hit us up on Stock Twits, hit us up on X. Let us know what your thoughts for names. Until then, I'm going to call it
The
the
Tuesday.
uh, the Tuesday show. And speaking of the Tuesday show, um, October 28th, which is 3 weeks from today, our gracious friend Cookie will be returning with a quarterly look at the markets. We love having Cookie. Don't know that he'll share charts. Last time he didn't. He just wanted to talk, and I think that's great. We flash charts up on the screen here, but we've been doing more talking than doing any technicals. So that might be the case some more. But anyway, the Jensen line. I like that too, GP. All in NVIDIA all the time. Anyway, guys, last words real quick.
Yeah, love you guys. Thanks. Appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Do not sleep on Apps Digital. It is a monstrous little penny stock. Always tune in. We will try to always answer questions. And we love all you guys, every single one of you guys, even if you're listening in silence. Thank you for showing up.
Digital Turbine, the apps,
Yes,
that
sir.
one. Yeah, I posted that chart about a month ago. I like it too. It's hitting resistance right here, but it looks good. See y'all tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. We love you. Take care. And we'll see you on the other side. Peace out.